So here it is, the main event. This is what everyone has been asking for. Detailed BTS breakdown of the days of the feature film. We're going to start with day 1 and proceed all the way to day 7, which is where we sort of had to stop because of the COVID outbreak. But I want to do a little preamble. I'll link down below where the actual BTS starts, because this is not something people typically do on a film for many reasons. One being, you're going to see in this spoilers of the movie. 2, you're going to see ungraded, unfinal footage that might not make it in the final movie, scenes that might not make it in the final film. All of which is like a total marketing no-no for feature films. They want to very much preserve the surprises and the thrills, especially in a thriller like this. And they basically only want to let people know about the film when it's ready to be seen. I feel like that's such a wasted opportunity. I want to share with you guys as I go, and all the mistakes and victories that we had along the way. It would really help me if you guys would subscribe and comment on this video and try and get attention to it, because this is me taking a big risk with showing you unfinished, uncertain parts of the movie that I've sweated over for the last year or so. I really want this to find an audience, be worthwhile, and help people out there. So please let me know if this is the kind of stuff you guys want to see, and if it's not, what details you would like to know about. So let's jump in. Our first day of shooting was in a skyscraper. It was one of our, it's kind of like the real opening of the film. There's a couple of scenes before this, but this is when the hero finds his dead partner, and it's the inciting incident that sets him off on his quest, so to speak. I wanted this to look really good, obviously, but this is one of the scenes that needed to look great. So we cut corners on other scenes, other locations, other effects, but this was one of the ones that had to look as good as it could possibly look. So we shot in a skyscraper in downtown LA on the 28th floor. We shot in an architecture firm, and pretty much almost the whole place was dressed as it was dressed. The complication was that it was an actual working office. People were there working on architecture and structural engineering the entire time. So we were just sort of shooting around them, trying to stay as small as possible, asking them to step out of frame, turning the lights off, asking them to duck down behind their computers. So we really had to not overstay our welcome, not push the friendship too far. So it was challenging in that sense. Something that's always a challenge when shooting on location is staging. You're going to bring a bunch of people and a bunch of crap to your location. Where is it going to go? If you put it anywhere that you're actually going to film, every time you move the camera, you're going to have to move all of that gear, all of the camera cases, light cases, cables, makeup table, actors, people behind the set. It means shoveling them around. So we had this very small little room that we thought, when we scouted the location, oh, we can stage here, we can shoot here. Turns out that, the 12 people that were on our cast and crew that day had, couldn't have fitted in that room if they were all standing up and holding their breath. So we sort of had a lot of moving people around, moving things around. Parking was a real nightmare. The parking, which we thought was in the basement of the building, was actually somewhere else on the block. So you had to park somewhere. We had to truck all our gear across, clear security, go up the freight elevator, unload through the door, store it somewhere. So we had about, I think, 8 cars coming full of different people and stuff, and it really was a challenge. Obviously, we couldn't bring in big lights and big stands. We lit most of this stuff with 6-foot quasar tubes, bicolor quasar tubes, just on a stand so that we could move around really quickly and it didn't take up much room. We could also hide the quasar behind the different posts in the building, subdividers and fake walls. So we started at the start, but then we did the end, because the 2 things we need to do was get him into the room where he finds the body and get him finding the body and then get him out again. But we decided to shoot all the stuff of him moving in and out first, so we didn't have to, light the office, light the interior office, then light the office again. So we did him walking in on the 2 slider tracks, meaning, we were here, we panned with him, then we panned with him again, sort of through a pylon, then turn around and pan out again. Obviously he has a very different mindset when he's just arriving at work to when he's found his dead partner and he's like fleeing from the potential killers. And it's a real mark of Connor, the actor's skill, that he was able to capture those mindsets convincingly, even though they didn't happen in order. I had blocked this whole scene where he hid from the cleaning lady and then potentially the killers. But unfortunately, the room that we were able to use in the office was glass. It was see-through, so there's no way he could have been hiding behind it. So we decided to cover that with builder's plastic, that very thin drop cloth that you get from Home Depot for like $5, and put up some under construction or painting signs to sort of sell it a little bit more, make it make sense. Most of the lighting that you see in these scenes is really just the lighting in the office, but we're selectively turning some fixtures on, some fixtures off to get the color and the shape that we wanted on the actors. This was a big decision that I had to make. Was it scarier to have the blinds down and have the scene darker, or was it scarier or more effective to have the blinds open and sort of see the city and make it brighter? Like if something's scary in the dark, it's scary, but if something's scary when it's daytime, it's really scary. I think we sort of split the difference. We tried to add some shadow in. What I sort of realized is that it's very difficult, even though these windows had a tint on them to hold the exposure of outside, all the amazing view that this place had with what's inside. You really have to punch in a bunch of light to balance those out. And we decided to hold outside just in the very top of the C500 Mark II's exposure, and then keep inside relatively dark, like almost silhouetted. To talk about camera movement in this scene, we started off with the slider so that it feels very almost ominous, like things are moving towards an ominous conclusion. And then once he finds the head and the body, we go a little bit more handheld. For the chase through the hallways, we actually swapped cameras to the Sigma FP and used a 𝙁𝙁𝙇𝙈 gimbal. And that was like very quick because we weren't able to really light or be outside for very long. So we just sort of ran around with this and looked, I'm happy with how it looked. I think it would have been great to put a better quality lens. We only had the Rokinon 24mm prime on there. I think we were shooting at 5.6 and just no one was pulling focus. And the DP were staying like 6 feet behind Connor as he ran. But since there's such a change in his sort of mindset as he starts running, it's not as incompatible as if we'd swapped to a different camera and different lens in the middle of a scene. So I'm dyslexic. I really have trouble with the line, the 180-degree rule, because I never remember. My brain doesn't record left and right. I still regularly get into the passenger seat of my car and wonder where the steering wheel is. Chapin Hall, the DP, was a huge help with that. I've taken to putting a little red sticker on the side of the monitor where 𝙁, the hero, is, so then I know what direction the other character should be looking. It's just a little hack for me to understand where the line should be. We also shot the going in and coming out first because we needed time to dress the office. We weren't able to get into the location the day before or the night before to pre-light or pre-dress or you put the dead body in there. We also couldn't have wet blood, or didn't want to risk getting wet fake blood on someone's carpet or desk, so we bloodied up the body and the head the day before and let the blood dry, which in the movie it would have been dry anyway by then. It is really, really tough to make a fake dead body look real. We had a good one, we rented it, but at the end of the day, you really just have to choose the best shots, maybe do some work in post to sort of like add a few more effects. Whatever it is, it's always really, really tough because the audience knows that it's, a dead body. No, everyone, like the two things the audience can think is that body looks fake or that body looks real. Did they really kill someone? And both of them take the audience out of the story. So I feel like the less you see, the better. You need to just see hints of things. Funnily enough, the spinal column looked better than the head itself. And I guess the head is a really hard thing to fake because the severed head, because our brains are so sensitive to faces. Like we've evolved to become masters of recognizing other people's faces, recognizing expressions like down to the millimeter and the what do they call it, micro expression. So when you put a fake head, people are like, oh yeah, that's a fake head. So the less you see, the better. The better, the more you backlight it. Something in big, strong, front light was always gonna sell. So we spent an entire 10-hour day on this scene. It's only about a minute and a half of screen time. If we kept that up for the same whole movie, this would be a 90-day shoot, which even for a Hollywood feature film would be long. That's a Revenant sort of shooting schedule. The reason that this scene did take long is we probably could have got it done in a morning. There was so many logistics in getting in and out of this office that you needed 2 hours either side. So by the time you go in for 2 hours, shoot for 4 hours, get out for 2 hours, then you're already at an 8-hour day, and it doesn't make sense. You don't really have anything else to shoot. So I actually added the chase scene through the office because I knew we were going to be at this location for an entire day, and figured, well, we may as well make the most of our day. This was our first time shooting with the C500 Mark II on a set with a gaffer, with a first AC. It went reasonably well. Obviously, everyone's not going to be up to speed and know their role and know how each other work on the first day. In an ideal world, I would have put this day later in the schedule, but this was the day we were going to get it. This is the day we needed it. So we just sort of made do. That is the BTS for the very first day of The Devil's Fortune. A huge success, very challenging, very long day. Love to know what you guys think about the the footage that I'm showing here, and also this description of the challenges and the successes that we had. I will happily make another video based on your questions if people have stuff they want to share or stuff they want to ask me. Yeah, this is one of the reasons I'm making this film, so would love to hear from you guys. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to do 6 more of these at least while we're still in quarantine. Yeah. Hit that notifications button, leave a comment if you're interested, and I will see you next time.